Hello, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith, and today's episode is going to be a little different. This is more of a practical life lesson that every person should know how to do. So I just bought a car, and it's the dreaded experience we all have at one point or another, and we always feel like we're getting screwed. Like it's just one of those things you go in there knowing they're going to play a bunch of games. Well, that did happen to me. So I walked out of the dealership. I think I told you guys that last week, and I decided I'm going to try using AI. And not only did it help me get an insanely good deal, but it also made the experience just so easy and painless. And when I went to actually like pick up the car, the sales manager literally offered me a job on the spot. They were calling me a shark. Okay, so it worked so good, and it's such a good just hack for life that I think everyone needs. And I'm going to teach you exactly how I did it. But before I go down that whole rabbit hole, I want to read a couple of the Spotify comments. So now that I figured out, I'm a little slow to this game, I guess, that you can leave comments on the podcast episodes on Spotify. I am loving reading them. So I want to read a comment from last week from Mama J. And she said, "This episode couldn't have come at a better time. I stepped away to get through some books, and this was the first episode I listened to after a journaling sesh today about trying to figure out why I'm stuck. I never thought about shifting timelines that way either. Thank you. I'm excited for the summer now, and I haven't felt excited in a while. Love you, Stephanie." Love you too, Mama J. And Liza said, "I can't seem to find the Manifest app." Okay, so if anyone else, including Liza, is looking for the Manifest It Now app, it's called Manifest It Now. So you can type that into the Apple App Store or Google Play, or you can go to the lawofattractiontribe.com and you'll see the Manifest It Now logo. You can just click on that. So keep leaving me these comments or Apple reviews because I am really enjoying reading them, and it just keeps me going. Like I need to just, I don't know, every once in a while I get kind of in a funk when, I've been doing this every single week without fail for what has it been, like 6 years now, almost seven. And it's just good to hear from listeners and connect with you guys. So I'm loving that Spotify has the comments. So yeah, go leave me a comment. It makes my whole week. Also, today, if you're listening to this, the day that this episode is airing, which is Monday, June 1st, this is the last day to sign up for Kajabi to get the 50% off for 12 months. Plus, you get my free upcoming AI course. And drum roll, please, the long awaited quantum portal for June is officially open as of today. So it's only going to be open until midnight on Wednesday, this coming up Wednesday, June 3rd. So pause this episode, go sign up and get in before you forget, because once it's closed, it's closed. It's done for good. So make sure you get in, go pause it, go do that right now. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to the lawofattractiontribe.com and you'll see it right there on the homepage. So I wanted to start out by just telling you this quick little story about how the June quantum portal came to be. And I want to tell you this story because it's just an example of something that happens all the time in my life and in my business, where if I'm feeling stuck or confused or I need clarity, I ask for signs and I ask for guidance, and it comes through. It never fails. It will come through once I remember to just ask. And so I wanted to share this story so that you can go and test this in your own life and see how it works. But my goal, I wrote down one day, was to consistently bring in $30,000 like each month with a launch. So I have my business set up where I have ads running, I have things going. So it's been very consistent and very stable. And I have so many products. I want to have like a monthly launch of something, um, just so people are aware of like all the different things I have. And so I can get my business more organized. And so with this launch, I'm like, I want a $30,000 launch for the month. Okay. That was just for whatever reason, that's the number that came to mind. And I've been seeing threes, repeating threes everywhere for months now. It's like my thing that I just keep seeing, and it's like I start laughing now when I see it because it shows up in every which way you could possibly think of. So that's what I had in my mind, right? So I asked for a sign, and before I asked for a sign, or this is like after. I'm going to go all over with this story. I'm losing my train of thought already. But so $30,000 was my goal. And then I wanted to launch a new product, which ended up being the portal, which I didn't know at the time. But I wanted to try a $27 product. And why? Why? Because $27 has just been like in my headspace. Like I keep seeing the visual for $27. And I didn't know what it was for or why, but it's just over and over and over again. I'm like, $27. So anyhow, I did the quick math, like as I'm setting everything up. And if you take the $30,000 goal and you divide it by $27, it would be 1,111 people. And 1111, 1111, that has been my sign for years now that I'm on the right path. So whenever I get like where I need some clarity, I'm not really sure 100% if I'm going to move toward something, the ones has been consistently my sign where I see that and I'm like, okay, I know I'm on the right track, and it has not failed me since. So there was my sign. So that this is this is how I run my business, okay? I go with my intuition. I ask for guidance. I trust the signs. And I understand that doing this probably doesn't seem logical. I mean, I feel like everyone that listens to the podcast gets it, but if there was a finance person or a marketing person or a business mentor, they're going to be like, what the hell is she doing? Like, that isn't logical. Like, you're just going off of signs that you're seeing or visions that you're getting. Yeah, that is how I conduct my business. And let me tell you something, it's never led me astray. The only time I get led astray is when I ignore it and try to go off of the logical thing. Like there's been plenty of times where I've done that, where I've ignored my intuition because there's an expensive business mentor that recommends something else or tells me, no, you should do it this way. And stupidly, I listened and then it bites me in the ass. So I say always trust your intuition over the experts or the logical thing to do. And with the quantum portal, again, like the experts, the mentors all say turn it into a membership. But that just did not feel good to me. Why? I don't know. I got that feeling in my body of like, no, I don't, at this point right now, I don't want to do that. And if something doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it because then my energy isn't in it in the same way. And people can feel that. They just can. Um, I wanted to trust my intuition, which was telling me, like, no, you can offer a portal every month, but let people decide month to month if they want to buy or not. Like, I don't want to lock them into a membership if they're not feeling guided towards it in that particular month, if that makes sense. And maybe there will be a point where a membership does feel aligned, but for now, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was like giving me the ick and I just don't want to do it. And yeah, the way we're taught and a lot of the coaches out there and the mentors, they're always talking about, well, you're leaving money on the table by not doing this. but I disagree completely. The way that I view it is if I feel energetically good about it, then people will feel energetically good about joining. If I don't feel good about it, people can sense that and they're not going to feel good about it. So I think if you don't trust your intuition, you're leaving money on the table. And this is also why I usually price things like so well that it really doesn't make sense logically because you're getting so much value for a small price. Yet, ever since I switched to doing it that way, I have made more money. And so I'm just sharing this like a little life lesson because I'm going through it right now. And I think that you should think about this in your life. Every business mentor and marketing expert told me I need to sell high ticket, I need to have one on one coaching, live calls, memberships. And I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. Like the best metric for success that you can use is your intuition. You have to go with what feels good to you. Because again, if it doesn't feel good to you, it's not going to feel good to anyone else. So I just wanted to mention that because that was like a big thing that I just went through to really like test my faith in myself and my intuition and my judgment and ask for signs over what the quote unquote experts are saying. And you can go and test that too in your life. And maybe there's something that everyone's telling you one thing, but you feel for whatever reason, you feel differently. Trust that feeling over the experts. That's what I do. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe you should explore that, test it out with something. So before I get into like the bulk of today's episode, I just wanted to go over exactly what the quantum portal is, because I know it's probably confusing. I've intentionally not given a lot of information because I don't want to spoil it. Like it truly is something you just have to experience. But if you listen to last week's episode, I talked about the 5 ways to quantum shift. And each of those 5 things did one of the following. It was either visualizing, it was recalibrating your energy, it was getting you in a certain emotional state, or getting like your nervous system or subconscious calibrated to your dream reality. And the portal basically takes all 5 of those and combines them. And it's guided, but it's something you're interacting with. So it's very potent and it's supposed to induce like a certain feeling and a certain vibration. And there's like a lot of goodies in there to basically get your nervous system, your emotions, your subconscious, your mind, everything on the same frequency as your dream reality. So that's kind of the thought process behind it of how can I take everything I know, but then take it to the next level where you're not just doing it, you're experiencing it. You're actually shifting your energetic state as you go through this. That's what it's all about. And right before I made this, like the sort of the beginning, like the first quarter of the year, I was in this creative drought where I just was not feeling very inspired. I felt very stuck. And again, it's like I have to remind myself that anytime I don't have clarity or I feel stuck or stagnant or whatever, just like I don't know what to do next, you can ask the universe for help. And it's like one day I was just like, oh yeah, why am I not asking for help? And I mean, I literally like asked out loud, like, help me get out of this funk and tap in to the creative flow again. Because I know that when I am in a state of creative flow, things move very quickly. And I went outside like I normally do, asked this, and it hit me like a lightning bolt. Like a lightning bolt. It was insane. I had all of these visuals, all of these like downloads of exactly what I wanted to create. And it was like a perfect vision in my mind of what I needed to do and like how I wanted to deliver it. But the problem was I had no idea how to do it. But I went with the flow, right? And I got so sucked into it. And this is how you know you're in creative flow because minutes will turn into hours, but it feels like minutes. And in one day, I ended up learning how to use like all of these new AI tools that were very intimidating to me before, but I just was in this state of flow and it was like so easy breezy. I learned how to do all of this and create these AI videos and this whole like intricate web of websites basically to build this portal so that it would feel interactive. It would feel like an experience. And that's how it came to be. So it's different. It's a little mysterious and exciting, and there's a reason for that. Again, this all boils down to your energy. There's some hidden Easter eggs. There's even like some riddles in there. So if you're ready to like step through, make a quantum shift, this is it. Like I think you're listening right now for a reason. So like I said, doors close Wednesday at midnight. And that's very intentional too, because this portal is only going to be open for the month of June. So I want people getting in at the beginning of the month so have time to go through everything. Yeah, I don't want to say anything else because I want it to be a surprise. It's 27 bucks. Like you can't really beat that, but like I said, it doesn't make sense logically, but it makes sense intuitively to make it that price. So the links in the show notes, you can go to the lawofattractiontribe.com and let me know as you start going in what you think of it. I'm like so nervous because I really poured my heart into this and the way it came about was just so interesting and I think you're going to love it, but I'm still nervous. So let me know as you go through it what you think. Okay, so now let's get on to how I ended up using AI to buy a car. So I ended up actually leasing a car. And there's, there's so much I can say about all of this. I don't want to get into the weeds with that, but my whole life, and if you're around my age, it's probably similar. We were taught that you always like buy a car and you shouldn't lease and you want to like own the car. And the way that I look at it is if I am going to want something else in 3 years, leasing is the way to go. We've leased a couple cars now. And again, I'm not going off of logic. I'm going off of what feels good. When we leased the other cars, it just felt easy. It felt like I didn't have to worry about maintenance and like all the things of being like a car owner. But at the end, like with the Tahoe, we got such a good deal because the lease ended during COVID when there was a shortage. So it was going for like 50,000, but we could buy it for 36. So we ended up buying it. And that's literally what I've been driving since I was pregnant with Amelia. And if you know me, you know I am not a car person. I just am not. I never have been. And I get like attached to my cars too. And this Tahoe like it was so practical for having 3 kids with the car seats and with the dog. And like we usually drive when we go on vacation because we just stay, in Florida usually. And so it's just a practical car and I love it. Like it's got everything, all the bells and whistles that I want. And I don't know, like I'm not a big car person. And I've also gone through this whole thing in the last few years where I just don't give a shit about material stuff like I used to. Like I always used to dream of like a G-Wagon and then it became like the new Lexus, I think it's like the GX or something. I don't care anymore. I really don't. Like I could take it or leave it. And like am I gonna throw down $100,000 for something that I don't really care about? No. I'm just not. And so it's just interesting how much I've shifted because normally you see people in business and they end up getting the G-Wagon or whatever. And here I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want that. And so anyhow, needless to say, I haven't been looking for a car. And sometimes I'll see stuff, I'm like, oh, that's cute or that's whatever. But I'm not like, oh, I have to have a new car. So basically, the universe twisted my arm because I started thinking like, oh, maybe I do want something. Um, and kind of getting that itch a little bit, but I wasn't moving on it. I'm like, I just feel like this is so practical and I do like the Tahoe and blah blah blah. Anyhow, long story short, there was like some issues that were coming up with it. And I talked to the mechanic that we go to, and he was like, if I were you, like just sell it while everything's working, sell it. Things are going to start to go wrong with it, with this many miles, and go get something new if you don't want the headache of like bringing it in and blah, blah, blah. So, and then even my dad, who's like very, financially conservative, was like, yeah, just go get something new, go look around. So, I finally got enough encouragement. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start looking. And I told you in the last episode, I think it was, we went to the dealership. So I really like the Palisade. Um, I feel like it looks like a Range Rover, but that's a whole other can of worms. Like I almost bought one a few years ago and everyone's like, don't do it. So I feel like this has like the same look though, because I like that style. And we had a horrible experience at the dealership, like absolutely horrible. They to lease it, not even like a normal lease. This was like for 7,500 miles a year. They wanted to charge like the first offer was 900 some odd dollars a month, which I like laughed at. I'm like, number one, I could buy it for that. Number two, like I'm not trying to get a G-Wagon. Like we're talking about a Palisade. Um, so then they brought it down to like seven something. And I was like, is this a joke? Like it really was just such a crazy offer to me that I ended up walking out. Like the finance manager came to talk to me and he's like, I just don't think we're going to be able to work a deal out. And I'm just like, all right, I'm out. And I left and I walked away and I was so just disheartened. I'm like, I don't want to go through this process. It just feels so icky and salesy. And I don't want to spend another 4 hours in a dealership only to be given like an unrealistic, number. I'm like, I don't know a ton about cars, but I know basic math and finance. And like there was just so many things wrong with what they were offering. So I end up, how I am with my AI, I'm like pouring my heart out to it. And it's so funny because it's always like, okay, Stephanie, let's take the emotion out of it. Okay. But even it was like that was a wild deal for that car. And like those fees they were trying to put in, absolutely ridiculous. So even it was saying like that was you need to walk away. This is not where you need to be. And I was like, I just can't bring myself to keep going through this. I don't know what to do. Now I just like the whole experience has become stressful and frustrating. And from a manifestation standpoint, I was thinking, I don't want to go in with this energy and this mindset, but I can't shake it. It was like I just dreaded going into a dealership again. So, and here's where you want to take notes or save this episode or share it with whoever might be wanting to buy a car. So this is the hack, okay? The AI said, here's what you're going to do. So you don't have to go into the dealership and deal with this nonsense again. You're going to find 3 to 5 dealers. So Hyundai, because I want the Palisade, within 100 miles. Now I am in Tampa, so there's a ton of dealerships. So I did this with 4. None of them are owned. They're not like sister stores. So they're all owned by separate people. 4 dealers, and you're going to send them the same exact message. And so what I did is I found 4 dealers, and you go on their website, and they have like the contact us button or whatever. So I put in my information, and this is what you're going to ask for. Give them either the exact VIN or the exact trim that you want. So you know how like each model will have like different trim packages. That's important to let them know what you want. The selling price, the lease worksheet or the worksheet if you're buying it, doesn't matter if you're going to lease or buy. You want the worksheet where it breaks down the price, all the fees, everything. Money factor, residual, which would be for a lease, and then out the door purchase price. And then what I wanted was true zero down lease payment. And the reason why, if you're going to lease, you want to do that is because, like, let's say you leave the dealership and you're leasing and you get in an accident and total the car, all of that insurance money is going to go to pay off the lease. It's not going to go to you. So if you put down, like most of them want you to put down like anywhere from like 3 to 8 grand, you're not going to recoup that money. And so this is why you want to roll all of the fees and everything into the lease and do zero down. And if you people might disagree with me, like I said, I'm not a car person. This is just what my AI was telling me to do, and it makes sense to me. So here's the exact thing that I sent them. I said, "Hi, I'm shopping for a 2026 Hyundai Palisade and I'm comparing offers from multiple dealerships. Please send me the selling price before incentives, the full lease worksheet, 36 months, 10 and 12,000 miles, zero down, money factor and residual value, total due at signing, out the door purchase price. I'm ready to move quickly for the right deal and prefer to handle pricing by text before coming in." Okay, so you're asking for all of those bullet points. Um, and then you're telling them, you're specifically saying, I want to handle this over text. Or if you want to do email, that's fine. I just feel like text works better. So I went on their websites. That was what I put in the contact form. Now, right off the bat, they all try calling and I just didn't answer. And so then they texted, and that's how I responded. I'm like training them how they're going to get my attention, right? And what this does is it completely like flips the power dynamic. So instead of sitting for 4 hours at one dealership and dealing with all these like just ridiculous back and forth, let me go talk to my manager tactics, you get dealers that all understand they're competing for your business. And so they're going to be aggressive. And that's exactly what I experienced. This was an experiment. I didn't know how it would go, but that was exactly what I experienced. So right off the bat, one of the dealerships texted me the worksheet like very quickly, gave me exactly what I asked for. And they had put like it would be 560 to 572 a month. So right off the bat, they're way more competitive than the dealership that I went to. Because remember, the dealership I went to, it was like $900. Then their next offer was 711. And then after that, they didn't even want to talk. This person right off the bat was 560 to 572 a month. So now I had a worksheet. And so I go to the AI and it says, text them, "Thanks for the info. I appreciate it. I really like the vehicle and I'm seriously considering moving forward. If there's any flexibility to get the payment a little closer to the low 500s with zero down or reduce the selling price a bit more, I'd feel much more comfortable moving ahead." And so he responds saying, "Thank you, Stephanie. The price quoted already has a substantial discount on a very popular vehicle. I'm sure if you were to come in to the dealership, my sales manager would see the gesture as that of a serious buyer and will be more apt to bring the price down even further. Would you like to, or when would you like to come in?" And this is what they'll do, right? They're going to keep trying to call you or keep trying to get you to go in. But remember, like you don't have to. You have the power in this situation. And so I responded, "Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm definitely interested in just trying to make sure the numbers feel right before coming in. If there's flexibility to get the lease closer to the low 500s with zero down, I'd be happy to come take a serious look." And keep in mind, when I started out talking with AI, it was like realistically, like if you could get it down to like 545, that would be stellar. Like that would be like the goal that we're going to. So that was kind of in the back of my mind of like what would be reasonable. So this particular dealer didn't text me back right away, but another one texted asking to speak with me over the phone. And so AI told me to text them, "Thanks for reaching out. I prefer to keep things over text or email while I compare offers. I'm looking for a 2026 Palisade, blah, blah, blah." And then I reiterated all of the things that I'm looking for. And then I added, I've already been quoted around the mid 500s elsewhere. If you think you can be competitive or improve on that, I'm definitely interested and ready to move quickly for the right deal. So again, you're creating a sense of urgency for them and you're reiterating what you want and the fact that they are competing for your business. Okay. So he responded, this is like another dealer now, and he asked to see that worksheet from the other dealer. So I said, sure, I'm comparing a few offers. Here's the structure I'm looking for the 2026 Palisade. Once again, reiterated that I want zero down, fees rolled in. And then I put, if you can improve on this, I'm definitely interested. And I sent a screenshot of the worksheet, but I cropped out like the name, the address, the phone number of the dealer, just so they wouldn't know like who made that offer. So then he tries like repeatedly calling me. And I texted him. I said, thanks for reaching out. I prefer to keep things over text for now while I compare offers. I'm planning to come in Friday and make a decision. In the meantime, I'm having dealerships send me their best and final offer on the 2026 Palisade, like true $0 down, fees rolled in, blah, blah, blah. If you can send me your most competitive numbers, I'd be happy to consider coming in Friday. Now, this was on Wednesday. So it gave them like a little time to, keep negotiating a better deal. But it was also close enough where it created that sense of urgency. Like she's ready to come in, we've got to get her to come to our dealer. So he ends up texting me back saying that he could beat the other offer, but I'd have to come in to discuss. So I responded with, thanks, I appreciate that. I'm definitely open to coming in Friday if the numbers make sense. Before I make the trip, can you give me a general idea of where the payment would land for the 2026 Palisade? And I reiterated the same points of what I wanted. And I said, it doesn't need to be exact. I just want to make sure we're in the same ballpark. And so he texted me back that they could do $10 to $15 less per month, which would put it at like 540, 545, which was what AI was like, that would be a great deal. So this is where I texted the other two dealerships. I'm sorry, the other three dealerships again. And I just said, hi, I wanted to follow up because I'm planning on making a decision Friday. I've had another dealership tell me they believe they can beat the current offer. But before moving forward elsewhere, I wanted to give you the opportunity as well, since I already spent time working with you. If there's any flexibility to get more competitive on the lease for the 2026 Palisade, 36 months, zero down, fees rolled in, I'd love to see what you can do. So the original dealer that I went to that was like, I went in person that was offering it for 711 and wouldn't go any further. They sent me this message. Hey, Stephanie, my GSM was able to do a quote of 550 with the same terms at zero down. So then I said, thanks for working on this. I really appreciate it. I'm planning on making a decision Friday and would prefer to work with you since I already came in and spent time there. But before finalizing anything elsewhere, is there any additional flexibility to make the numbers a little more competitive on the zero down lease? Meanwhile, I texted the other dealer saying, hey, the other one that was like, we'll go $10 to $15 lower. I texted him, hey, quick update. I now have another dealership at $550 a month on the same terms. You mentioned you could likely beat the other offer, but before I make a decision today, can you let me know realistically where you think you'd land? Because I wanted them to give me an actual figure. Again, he tries calling me multiple times. His manager tries calling me. And I texted, I'm tied up at the moment, but happy to keep it over text for now while I compare numbers and make a decision today. If you can give me a general idea of where the payment would realistically land, that would really help me narrow things down. So then he texted me back, I can do 510 to 530 depending on credit, which is like, this is like beyond the best deal that I thought could happen. It's like the AI was like, okay, that is insane. That is a really good deal. And so I relayed that to the other dealership that was saying 550, but they wanted written proof. And that's what they'll say. They'll say, well, in order to bring it to my manager, I really need a quote. Can you get it in writing? And I just told them no, like they're not going to send it. They said they won't send it in writing. It's just a verbal agreement. So let me know. Like this is where I'm going to go. They have the lowest offer now. If you want to be competitive, let me know. So then they came back with 545. So I went to the one in Tampa, the one that quoted 510 to 530. But here's the thing, before I went in, I messaged him one more time and I said, before I come in, I just want to confirm that it's 510 to 530 with excellent credit for the 2026 Palisade, zero down, all the fees rolled in. You know, I reiterated all those terms just to make sure it's in writing. Yes, this is what I want to do. So that way, when I go in, if they try to jerk me around, I can be like, no, and pull up the text message. This is what I agreed to. If you're not going to stick to that, I'm leaving. Okay. So this is why it's so good to have text because then you have like a paper trail of everything they agreed to. Um, so anyhow, I go there and when I go and they're like laughing and they're like, you're the one texting. And I said, yeah. And they're like, you're a shark. You are a shark. And the manager, he's like, I will hire you right now. Like, do you want a job? Like, can you come work for my sales team? And we were just laughing. And he's like, you got the best deal. Like, we've never done anything like this before. But you know, we got to give it to you. Like, you played hard, which is so funny because it was the easiest thing. Like, I was literally just texting what AI told me to text. I would say, hey, he said this. And AI would say, okay, you say this. That's it. Um, so anyhow, they set the paper down in front of me and it was 522, which that was the dream number. Like AI is like, you're probably never gonna get this, but um that would be, you know, like the best case scenario. So they put that down in front of me and just I'm like, yep, I agree, that looks good. And so I was in and out of there in about an hour. And it was so pleasant, it was easy, it was painless. And it was so satisfying going back and telling that original dealership that quoted me the $900 a month that I went elsewhere. And it was also crazy to see just how much they will mark it up knowing they've got you. Like you've spent all day there, you're going to cave. So, it was just a very interesting experience. And the director ended up doing the paperwork with me and he was just like, you know, they did everything wrong and you're going to be a case study now that we're going to have a sales meeting on because all of this stuff, like he was showing me, you know, what I should have paid in the first month that I'm not going to have to pay because of the way we worked the deal. And so I feel very good about the whole thing. And it's wild because it was an easy and painless process. And so I think like having that shifting my that perspective to know I'm going to get in the driver's seat. I am the one with the money. They have to earn my business. That little mindset shift changed everything. And keeping it on text, they can't really use their like intimidation tactics or their sales psychology over text. You can do it on the phone, you can definitely do it in person, but over text or over email, it's not as easy because it doesn't make sense in writing when you start doing those things. So that's why this works so well. Um, so anyhow, let me just sum it up again and just keep this like, you know, if you want to come back, if you're not buying a car now, keep it for when you are. This will work the same way if you're going to buy instead of lease. Like it's the same, you know, type of deal, right? So you're going to text 3 to 4 dealerships in a 100-mile radius. And when I say text, like if you don't have their text number, usually they have it on their website, fill out the contact form. You're going to ask for the exact VIN or trim that you want, the selling price, the lease worksheet, money factor, residual, out the door purchase price. And then for me, like I wanted true $0 down lease payment with all the fees rolled in. So whatever your specific terms are, maybe you're going to buy and you want to put 10 grand down. or maybe there's a certain interest rate. Like whatever your terms are, make sure you put that in the text or the email. And this is the important part. You want to ask for a worksheet that breaks down the price and fees. They're not going to want to openly give it to you. They're going to say, you need to come in. Let's at least talk over the phone. But just try to get that worksheet from at least one place, so that you can use that as leverage for getting a deal with the other three. And then when whoever gives you an offer first, let the others know, hey, I have an offer. Do you want to beat it? Can you be competitive with this offer? And I think what really helped me was I kept it time bound by saying that I'm going to come in the day after tomorrow. I want everyone's best and final offer. That way, like, they're not even trying to throw ridiculous numbers at me. They're really, truly giving me good offers, and then I can play them against each other to get it even lower. They're going to try to ask to speak with you over the phone. They'll say, I have to. I can't give you this number. It's too competitive. Or you have to come in. Just keep texting them. Thanks for reaching out. I prefer to keep things over text for now while I compare offers. You don't have to go in or talk to them over the phone. And they will see after a few hours or a day that, yeah, you're serious. Like you're not going to come in for that. And one of the dealers dropped off when I did that, but the other ones became more competitive. So just know like you have the power in that situation. But if you give in and you go in person, you're kind of like giving that power away, if that makes sense. Um, but anyhow, keeping it by text or email, everything's in writing. You're in control. The sales tactics are not going to work. And when you give them a specific day, so this could be 2 days, could be tomorrow, 3 days. I wouldn't go more than that. That you're planning on buying. You can say, I have time on Friday to come in and I'm serious about buying. That will get the sense of urgency where they're going to want to win your business. And they're going to keep trying to get you to come in first or call them. Just remember, you don't have to. You do not have to do that. The other thing to remember is once you do make a deal, um, a- and you're planning on going in, send that one last text saying, before I come in, I just want to confirm this is the price range. These are the points we agreed on. So that way, when you go in there, if they try to pull anything, oh, well, we didn't, you know, there's this fee or this particular model, or we don't have this particular one in stock, you can pull up the text and say, no, you agreed to this, and this is why I agreed to come in. And then you have to be prepared to walk out because they're going to try to make you feel like, oh, you got to get this now. This is going to sell out. Don't listen to them. Just stick to, if I don't get this deal, I'm walking out. And it worked for me. Like I said, this was an experiment. I've never done this before. But they did not mess with me whatsoever. They were so nice. I do feel a little bit bad because they were like tiptoeing around me. They didn't even try to sell me on the warranty stuff. Like the director's like, I have to read you all of this, but I'm literally like, you can say no. I'm not gonna push you. Like I know what you wanted. By law, I have to read these to you. That's like how he was talking with me. And when I said no, he's like, okay, no problem. One other thing though that I didn't know, when he was going over the warranties, he's like, are you a Costco member, or I think it was like AAA or AARP, or are you military, or are you a first responder? And I just happened to be a Costco member. So he's like, do you have your card with you? I show him the Costco card and he types in his computer. And one of the warranties, so there was like a warranty because I got the light interior, which my husband was like, why would you do that when we have 3 kids? I'm like, because I want it. Like, that's why I want it. He's like, it's going to get stained. So they had this extra warranty where if the seats are stained or they're ripped or anything interior is like damaged, and then on the exterior, if there's a scratch or a dent or anything like that, there was a warranty that would cover all of that. And since I was a Costco member, that warranty is just included. So that's another thing. Once you're in there, you can just ask. You can say, "Hey, like I'm a Costco member, or I'm a veteran, or I'm in the military, or I'm AARP, or what, just ask them and see if there's any, additional deals." Because that was like a bonus. I had no idea that they had that. So anyhow, I know this episode was a little bit different than normal, but I think we all at some point or another are in a situation where we're going to buy or lease a car. No one really teaches us how to do it. We know we're kind of getting played and they throw all these sales tactics. So I just think it's a good thing to know and to try. Like I said, it worked for me. It was much less stressful than going in and dealing with things that way. And I think especially for women, it's harder. Like I think they saw me coming at that first dealership and thought like, "Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about," because I didn't. And they thought they could play me. And so I think it's just good to do this and stay in control of the situation because you're the one buying. They are not the ones in control. Like you're the one that's making a significant purchase, and there's a lot of other dealerships you can go to. And so don't forget that you hold the power in the situation and don't let them take that away from you. So, yeah, save this episode for whenever you go to buy a car, share it with, your friends, your kids. Um like this is a good lesson for Alexis when she gets older. Um and just try it out and maybe they'll all start catching on to it, but this got me thinking that with AI, I could see dealerships or at least the salespeople being obsolete at some point, and it'll just be like our AI negotiating with their AI, and it'll be kind of like a Carvana or CarMax thing where it doesn't matter the location, they'll find the best deal and then have it delivered. That's just where I could see things going. So just interesting, very interesting. Another way you can use AI to help you out in life. And yeah, go check out the June Quantum Portal. So again, this is going to close on Wednesday at midnight Eastern. So get in now. The link is in the show notes. Go to the lawofattractiontribe.com. You'll see it there as well. And then it's also the last day to get Kajabi for 50% off for 12 months, plus my AI course that's going to show you all the cool new AI features in real time. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode.